Hi everybody, I'm Audrey Moore with Audrey Helps Actors, and today we are doing episode number 23. 23, what's it gonna be? You and me figuring out our acting careers. So this episode is with my dearest sweetheart, Melissa Berger. Like a burger you eat. Did you know she doesn't eat red meat? So there. I think it's to rebel against her name. And we're talking about publicity. She is my publicist. She handled all the publicity for Godless and beyond. And I am doing this episode because, wouldn't you know, I walked in blind into having a publicist, and I just really wish that I had had an Audrey Helps Actors episode to listen to so that I could know what on God's green earth I was getting myself into. I want to just have a moment with you guys about cost, the cost of a publicist. We don't really go into this as much during the episode. And all that was really explained to me every time I told anyone I was going to get a publicist, they were like, oh, great, it's really expensive. And you know, that's kind of like when people are like, oh, you're going to be an actor. It's really hard. And it's just sort of this like general malaise term. But you're sort of used to people like, you know, giving you shit like that. So you sort of like, sure, whatever, gonna do it anyway. And I wish that somebody had been like, it's gonna be really expensive. Here is why. And then I could have like had a reference point. But I didn't. So here's what I'm gonna say to you. I'm gonna give you some reference points. I want you to pretend that you're getting married. That's the cost of a publicist. And just know every single event you get to is like you're getting married again. Now, somebody's paid for the venue, but you got to pay for the wedding dress and the hair and the makeup and the shoes. And somebody's going to take your pictures. You got to pay for pictures a lot of the time. It's like, it's expensive. It's not a perfect analogy, but it's the analogy I'm working with. So just know it's not cheap. So I'm going to break it down for you, okay? The first thing I wish somebody had taught me was that you take these things called publicity photos. They're a photo shoot that you take yourself so that all of these articles that are coming out about you, they're not going to have a photo shoot for you unless you're Tina Fey, okay? Because they're not going to blow 10 grand on a photo shoot for you. So you have to spend money on your own photo shoot for you. And these are then your like stock photos that then all these articles get to choose from to pull and put you into their publications. That's an expense I wasn't knowledgeable about, and also is something that you need to have ready when you go into publicity. So I signed with this publicist, wonderful Melissa, and she's like, okay, where are your photos? And I was like, what photos are you talking about? Apparently that's something you have to have already. So if you are thinking about going into publicity, before you even hire your publicist, go get a publicity photo shoot. But that's expensive. You got to pay for your photographer, stylist, clothes, hair and makeup, retouching. All of that stuff goes into it, and it takes time and money. And, you know, I'm a master of the headshot, but just know a head-to-toe look. You're doing head-to-toe for publicity shoots, and that means all of it has to look good on you, and look good in a different art form than just sort of like your collarbone up. So, yay! Then what is the cost for a publicist? A publicist is usually somewhere between $2,000 and $5,000 a month, with a minimum requirement of 3 months, sometimes 4 months, depending on who the publicist is. So right out the gate, you're going to be spending anywhere from, say, $6,000 to possibly $20,000 just for the publicist. Now, what does the publicist do that they are making so much damn money? You might ask. Well, that is what this episode is going to be about. But that's just the cost of the publicist. And then there's other things that you have to pay for. You have to pay for a stylist. A stylist can be anywhere from $500 an event to $2,000 an event. I mean, it can go so much higher, but like, I'm just going to assume none of you are like paying $5,000 a day for a publicist, but like $500 to $2,000 for them. Plus they have assistants so that you don't have to go all around town and grabbing all of your shit. You hire a stylist assistant who goes around town and grabs all your shit and they bring it to your house. And that person is anywhere from like $150 a day to $500 a day. Now, none of this, paying the stylist, is the cost of clothes. So your head to toe look for each event, head to toe, earrings, purse, if you're men, suits, jackets, belts, shoes, cufflinks, all of it is something that you are likely going to have to pay for when you start. Can I take any of that back? Just want you to know we're going to do an entire episode with a stylist. That's next week. So, you know, if you're getting like anxious about that, my stylist and I, we're doing a whole episode. We're going to talk about that. Sometimes you can rent stuff, but you have to pay a portion of what you're renting. You can have clothes made, but having clothes made, just so you know, it's what I've done. It's been extremely successful for me because I have a body type, just like all of you, that does not just fit off the rack. And that takes time, energy, and money. Men end up spending a lot of money on tailoring. So if you're a guy and you're like, well, I'll just go buy a suit. You can't just go buy a suit. If you're going to go a carpet, you want it to look impeccable. Like, what are your goals for publicists? And you don't have to have it look impeccable. Like, it's whatever you want to do. But if you want to look like a movie star and that's sort of the branding you're going for, then it's going to have to be tailored impeccably. And that's going to cost money and it's going to take some time. Don't go into that tailor and be like, I need this suit in 2 days. They're not going to do it for you. Hair and makeup for each and every event that you go to is anywhere between $250 and $500, usually per each. So you can have a hair and makeup person who does both, or you can have a hair person who does the hair and a makeup person that does the makeup. And they're really expensive and they're busy. And so you usually have to have a couple on hand because they get booked. And the more you like them, probably the more everybody likes them. And so everybody's using them. So it gets really, really expensive. And the better you're doing, the more events and opportunities you're going to be getting. And that's what you want. So you don't want to limit yourself in what you're able to attend, be prepared for, show up for, because you're trying to make the most of your money. And what's interesting about this is like making the most of your money also then costs more money. So just know you might also have other secret expenses like travel. You know, I had a lot of events in New York City and I traveled my publicist because my publicist is an independent publicist and she is not part of a large firm. And some of you might go with somebody that's like a large firm. And so they have somebody that's going to go with you to the New York office from the LA office. And that's already part of the deal. That's not part of the deal that I went with because I wanted a little bit more individual attention. And as you guys know, she crushed and killed it. But I covered her cost to New York City. And that included, you know, I offered to pay her meals, like take care of your people, right? Ubering and lifting to certain publicity events that we were going to. That was a cost that I didn't really count on, and it adds up. And I would say for me, a really big expense was actually switching my closet over from being audition oriented to being publicist oriented. So, you know, I have like 9 trillion mom shirts that over the last like 7 years I have garnered and perfected. And now I need to have like shoes. I never bought shoes that anyone cared about, you guys, because nobody sees your shoes on camera. Nobody cares. But when you're doing an interview, when you are doing a head-to-toe photo shoot for some publication that's having you come in, you have to then have shoes that looks good. And you have to be prepared because you don't know what the event is going to be. You think maybe it's just going to be an interview, and this happens. You think it's going to be an interview, and then they like swoop you in, and they're like, also, we're going to take this photo. Well, luckily, I'm wardrobe head to toe, had my hair and makeup done, and was ready to go. Because otherwise, it would have just been like derpy Audrey and her derpy self taking this derpy photo to sit up online for the rest of her life. So it's a lot like acting in that you just prepare as much as you can. You show up as invested in both time, energy, and money as you can. And then sometimes that's all of the things that you've invested in are required of you. And sometimes you're just saying 1 or 2 lines. So this is the episode. I know that was a lot. I just want you to go in knowing what you should do. And the next time for my next show, I have to say, my plan is going to be taking a sizable chunk of the money I make on that show and automatically putting it into a separate bank account called Publicity. And it's just going to sit there because you don't know if your show is going to be a hit and you're going to need to hire a publicist. Or maybe you think the show's going to be a hit and then it's like, nobody cares. It got canceled. But yay, then you got all this money that you can then just go shopping or go on vacation with. So good luck. I hope you're on your way to an audition that you're going to book, that then you're going to need to hire a publicist for, but you're going to save your money. Audrey helps actors because they don't know anything. Hi, everybody. I'm Audrey Moore with Audrey Helps Actors. And today we have...
Hi, Melissa Berger.
I'm going to encourage Melissa not to drink and talk at the same time while recording a live voice recorded podcast.
Hi.
But that's her warning. So, hey, Melissa, what's up?
Hey, girl.
So we're going to talk about publicity today. You are a publicist. You have been my publicist for this run of Godless, as so many of you know.
Wait, you got to say I am your publicist.
Okay.
Not...
Have been. Okay, ready?
I see an M zone somewhere.
God.
So can you rephrase?
Insecure.
Can you rephrase?
I just want to say, publicists are just like actors,
so
and they're
insecure.
so insecure. You are my publicist, and through the tenure of the Godless run, right, it's still going. And I wanted just you guys to know. I know I sort of walked into the publicist world as blind as Audrey is, which is an actor speak, actually sort of more informed than most. But, you know, I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea what I was doing. So I am very lucky in that Abby Sibakow, my manager, had a connection to Melissa, and we met and we decided to work together. And so here we are.
Yeah. I mean... We decided we wanted to work together. Maybe was that before or after a 3-hour
we like
conversation of just nothing.
We just like gabbed for 3 hours. It was very good. But, you know, when we're going to talk about like what you should look for in a publicist, all those sorts of things. So you and I know each other because we work together. And I want to ask, how long have you been a publicist?
Bear with me.
Yes.
It's a little awkward.
She gets awkward because she's used to never being in front of the mic or the camera.
And actually, I do well in radio and podcasts. I've done this before. I'm a lot more comfortable than I am in front of the camera. So just bear with me.
I just make her nervous, you guys.
You do make me a little nervous. I never get nervous. This is really weird. This is like we're like on a date. Like we're in a closed box pretty much.
We are.
I have my drink. She has her drink.
She's gonna get
sitting across.
She's gonna get a hashtag Me Too experience by the time we're done.
I hope not.
You hope so.
I hope not, or I hope so. I've been an actual publicist for about 10 years.
Great.
9 to 10 years.
Great.
I just like every normal publicist, you start at an assistant or an intern.
Okay.
And I was lucky enough to just jump right into an assistant
at a publicity firm.
At a publicity firm.
Okay.
Medium size.
Okay.
They repped all actors, mostly all actors. In the African American genre, actually, a lot of the African American genre.
Okay.
I'm like that. They call me like the Jewish African American publicist.
That's
because
funny.
I'm like the white Jewish girl that's always seen on BET carpets. But yeah, so I ended up starting there for about a year, and my story is like kind of long, but I'm gonna just make a cliff notes of it.
Sure.
Is I experienced a lot in that year from every side that you can imagine, and I had a couple mentors of mine that just influenced me to just spend my entire savings and just jump and get a small office in Beverly Hills the size of a closet and just hustle.
Great.
And I ended up after a year being an assistant, starting my own company.
That's so fantastic.
Praying to God that it was going to all pan out.
I do know about praying to God that it will all pan out.
Yeah, on my knees, like every day, no sleep, on your knees, praying.
Yes.
And it's a lot of hard work and hustle. So it was, my best friend though at the time was Interscope's publicist. Before I moved to LA, I was in the sports world. So it was more of like sports marketing, PR, like you could also imagine. My best friend at the time still one of my closest friends. She was Interscope's publicist. So she used to represent Fergie, Black Eyed Peas, Jamie Foxx. I mean, everyone you could possibly imagine. And she was a big component into why I got into talent PR, event PR, brand PR, because she used to say to me every day, like, you need to go into what I do.
That's great.
And I kind of just fell into it.
Why did she feel like that was right for you? What do you think she felt?
She's known me since I was like maybe 13 years old, 12 or 13 years old, little down a Jewish camp that we went together. And I've always been, and now you've gotten to know me a lot better, is I have this, just like you, this gift to gab.
Yeah.
And just kind of be out there and be social.
Yeah.
I always, growing up, I always was the person that was like, let me plan this convention. Let me be social chair. Let me do this. Let me do that. So she just kind of saw what she did. And growing up together, she was like, what do you like? This is what you should be doing.
Like a natural fit for you.
Well, yeah, because like when I was in the sports world, I was pretty much doing PR, but in a different capacity. It wasn't really talent PR, but it was PR. And I don't know. It's just one of those things that, like, when people say, how did you get into it? I just like, it sounds so cliche, but it's like, I just fell into it.
So all the actors listening are probably like I am. They're thinking, oh, there's like, what does all that mean? Like talent PR versus sports PR versus everything. So like what in general, if you can give like a general overview, because there's like an actor, right? But like an actor is so many different things. And then there's like, you're in PR, but what is PR can be so many different things. So can you tell me like what in particular a talent PR person does? And then you're usually talking with other PR people who rep other companies. Is that generally what you do?
Well, yeah, I think we should back up for a second because
yeah, great.
No, I'm just because I want to break it down for everyone. When people say, "What do you do?" I'm like, "I'm a publicist," and some people think I'm an editor. Like I write. Like I'm like, no, I don't write articles. Like you don't want me to write articles. Okay. God forbid. I mean, like I'm probably a decent writer, I think, but you probably don't want me to write articles. But I go, no, I'm in public relations, and like, what does that mean? And I get that question all the time. People who are not in this industry. And I always tell them there's different forms of publicity. There's different forms of publicists. You're exactly right. There's brand PR. There's corporate PR. There's charity PR. There's talent PR. There's event PR. So when people, like young people, I can't believe I'm saying young people, like the ones in college that are studying this, and they don't know what genre to go to, I'm a big component of going, well, you're so young that you need to try out which subjects that you're going to be good at. So you have to kind of go off and intern here and do an assistant job here. The funny thing is I kind of just fell into the talent world of PR. And that's what I love to do. I've had opportunities to do fashion and do brands and do whatever I need to do. But I found my love and my passion with people because I sell people.
You're creating a brand with a person rather than like a product necessarily.
And like a lot of people ask, what does a publicist do? Like, what am I paying for? Like, what am I getting out of it? A lot of publicists will give you different answers. You know, like it's hard to explain. Like there's these big firms, small firms, medium firms.
Yeah. So I want to break that down. So just so there's like agencies, you guys, right? Like you have like a smaller agency, then you have like maybe a mid-size agency, and then you have like WME and bigger, CAA agencies.
Right.
Publicity firms have a similar sort of vibe.
Exactly. Okay. I mean, that's what it is. I know names stand out to a lot of, up and comers.
Right.
Sometimes that gets lost with the whole idea of what you want to brand yourself with,
what you want to accomplish really.
And I'm trying to think of the right words and not to like slap any of these big or smaller firms because it's for people, it's for some people, but you have to understand what you're going to get out of this situation if you're an up and coming actor.
Right. And I just wanted like to clarify that and translate to actor speak. It's just like, if you have 2 co-star credits and you sign with William Morris Endeavor, like you have to ask yourself, like, what is their interest in you actually?
Right.
Like, and the difference between William Morris Endeavor and a publicist is that you're not paying WME to rep you the way that you're paying a publicist to rep you. So
we can get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Too. Yeah. I'll explain that.
But just so people understand, like, it just like if you're a young actor who doesn't have any credits and you sign with a big agency, they're that can be cool, and it can be something that sounds exciting
But the question
to you.
always comes up, why?
Why? And there are certain risks that come with that, which is like, are they going to be answering your phone calls if they're taking Oprah's phone calls? Which is what WME reps. And so, but are they maybe going to give you like a 3 to 6 month trial just to see like what you can get? So there's sort of like some benefits.
Granted, there's also, and I'm not taking this away from these bigger agencies or management groups or whoever it is that there could be an intern.
Yes.
Or an assistant that's super passionate about you.
Right.
And that's the person that's going to be hustling for you.
And that's what I really want to communicate is that what I try to tell people, because people ask me all the time about representation, and I have been very blessed to have great representation. Thank you, Abby. And
Abby.
Thanks, Abby. We all thank Abby all the time for everything. But what that really is somebody that is passionate about you. And whether that's a smaller agency, whether that's a medium or that's a large one, if you have anybody on the rung who's really passionate about you and believes that your career is something worth being excited for and about and pushing for, then that's really what you want.
And I personally won't have anyone, even a part of my company, that doesn't believe in that person or that product or that idea or that creative, because it makes no sense for me, especially because I can't sell unpassionate people.
If you're a salesperson.
Well, I should probably like we actually jumped. So let me explain really quickly about when we say branding.
Yes.
Is the other thing too is that
I have like, what is a publicist and what do they do? So
that's
branding,
what I'm going to get to. Yes.
Great.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I say branding. A lot of meetings you take or people, they won't say branding. They'll just say my job is to, when your project comes out, I'm going to, we're going to hit the entertainment genre and I'm going to talk to every editor and every talent booker and be on the carpets with you. I'm more of like, I look at you and in the first meeting and you can say
attest to this, right?
Because we talked for 3 hours about
all
God knows whatever, family, friends, everything.
Yeah.
And the reason why I go into first meetings like that is because I like to get to know them. And once I get to know them, I start to think about while we're talking, my head's turning because I'm like, oh my God, like she's passionate about animals. Like we can go into the animal spectrum of things. Wait a minute, she has this in her family. She has cancer in her family. Oh, she loves to cook. Oh my gosh, that's a whole different avenue. A lot of publicists won't do that.
Right.
Because I think of our clients as brands.
Right.
So
and you're thinking long term.
I'm thinking long term and I'm thinking, how can I make them more money?
Yes.
I'm thinking, how can I brand them into a mainstream world?
Yes.
I'm thinking, how do I get people to know these people? How do I break them out of an ensemble cast? I just think differently. Like I get excited when I get a feature for someone. I get excited for that.
And tell them what a feature is.
So a publicist basically is when you have projects that come out, and it could be anything. It could be a TV role, a movie role, a new album, a hit. These things with like short films, they're amazing for actors to do because they're up and comers, but there's no need for a publicist for that stuff.
Right.
It has to be something that's kind of
push worthy
because these editors, which I mean by editors is your magazines, your weeklies, your blogs, your freelance people. They're going to need a hook, and they're going to need something that's going to stand out, that's going to have people click or open up the magazine. So actors or talent need to understand that like our job is not easy. So we have to think creatively. Well, at least great publicists think creatively.
Absolutely.
And figure out a way to get those people into a pitch and pitch them to their relationships and say, this is why you should put this person on shape.com.
Yes.
This is the person why you should put entertainmentweekly.com.
Right.
It's more than just the entertainment world for me.
Because the thing is you have a movie, say you have a movie coming out and that movie is like so-and-so in this, Power Rangers movie, say. So like you have that, right?
And I have one of Power Rangers. Yeah.
But then, so you have so-and-so in a Power Rangers movie, but then like that's only worth like a couple of sentences in an article. Well, then you need to also know about that person.
I also think you should take your series, for example.
Right.
When you came to me with Godless, I knew right away that like this is going to be an amazing show. Wait, it's an ensemble cast. It has like 10 other females in there, and you have Michelle Dockery, who's like the main female lead. Okay, great. This is going to be a challenge for myself, but I'm up for it.
Yeah.
So let me think of different ways and how I can brand Audrey in a way that none of these other girls are branding themselves.
And can you tell me about what the challenge is? Is it because it's an ensemble cast and so everybody is sort of like fighting to stand out? Is that what that is?
I don't want to like answer for other
sure.
actresses from the series because I don't know what their plan was.
Sure, no, I didn't either.
Some people get discouraged because there is an ensemble cast and they're always like, well, why am I going to spend the money? There's like so many people. I'm not the lead and whatever. You honestly don't need the lead role to get press.
Right.
With you, it was, you know, I know you now. So like it was an easy sell for me to my relationships. Granted, you're still building. So the good news about you is that you understood that.
Yes.
Like actors understand that it's a building process.
Well, some actors
yeah. I'm lucky enough to have a conversation with you and be open about it where you flat out said like, I know I need to build. So I know I need to do this, this, and this. And so when I tell like an up and coming actor or someone who has a great role in a series and it's their first thing, it's like, don't expect to get Allure magazine. Don't expect to get in Style magazine.
Right.
It's literally like you have to like have like a box to stand on.
Right.
And then when you get to the point where Allure is looking at you, you have this entire box of other features from different outlets that are going to go, oh, she's credible. Let's put her in Allure magazine.
Yeah. I mean, when I was deciding whether or not to get a publicist, what I was really looking for was actually big picture because it's an investment, you guys. And so you have to know like, what is your big picture? And what I will say about me, Audrey Moore in particular, is that I, like you, Melissa, am a very extroverted person. I'm great in a conversation. And when I was telling other friends that I was thinking about getting a publicist, all of my friends of like my level in the acting career and up were like, of all people, you should get a publicist because you're a person who does great in an interview. You're a person who has strong points of view.
Well, you're also a person who is very driven.
Yes.
And I'm glad we're touching upon this because it's something that I want to talk about. We can talk about more later. But it's not only my job to like think creatively and try to build as much as I can and use my relationships, not only walking red carpets with you and making sure editors interview you or, you know, doing an interview with you on the other side of the phone is that you have to understand that like it's a work in progress.
Yes.
Like you guys need to do work as much as we're doing the work. There's nothing more frustrating in our job. At least I'm going to speak on my behalf.
Yes.
There's something more disappointing and frustrating when an actor has something or a talent or a personality or something and I see so much in that person and they start to not feel passionate about themselves.
Yes.
And so then they start to like not do the work.
This is what your managers and agents feel as well. If all you're doing is waiting for your agents and managers to call, then they're not going to be as passionate about you. Like when we had the interview with Abby, part of what she had said was that, you know, I'm reading the pilots all the time. I'm looking at what's coming up. I'm putting myself on tape all the time. I'm hustling. I'm pushing. And that pushes her to push as well. It would be easy to have a publicist and you feel like, well, I'm paying you to do this job, so do this job. But what you're really doing is you're paying them to do their job and your collaboration. And so you also have to help fulfill whatever that is.
Right.
You're really the point person. It's you. It's your brand. It's your career. It's your future. And so you have to be passionate about it and you lead the way and then they help fill in all the gaps and have ideas and other outlets and all that sort of creative process stuff that you're talking about. But still, like you as the actor have to be passionate about you and your career and you have to be putting the work in forward.
And it's not going to be easy. And that's the thing is that when you get a publicist, it's like getting an assistant, it's getting a mom, it's getting a babysitter, it's getting your best friend.
Yes.
It's a lot of things. And you're going to when you get one, it's not personal. So a good publicist is going to guide you. They're going to guide you in all these steps and what you should be doing because that's what you hired me to do. So if I'm telling you how to do all these things, you're going to have a strong backbone.
Yes.
And understand that it's not personal. It's because you trust that person to make the right decisions. And it's like Abby, like it's like your team.
Yes.
So you trust them.
Yeah.
But there's nothing more frustrating when you go back and it's like, okay, they're not doing their part or their work. So why am I
pushing hard?
Why am I pushing hard? Because they're not passionate about themselves.
And I want you guys to know, I hear the same thing from agents again and again and again, from managers again and again and again, and also from casting directors. Like many of you have casting directors who are fans of you. And then if you aren't putting in the work and you come in and you have a bad attitude, everybody has a bad day. But if they brought you in once, twice, 3 times, and you're just sort of ambivalent, then they lose faith in you. You have to be the person that is driving the passion that then everyone else wants to join and be a part of and collaborate with you on.
And I think you can tell a good team, publicist, manager, agent. I've had the same people for years.
Yes.
I've had one person for 9 years, had one person for 5 years. Like our company is very like retention. Like if you're going to go on hiatus, great, go on hiatus. But when you have that next project, I want you to come back.
Yes, that's right.
So that's our biggest goal, is that we want people to come back.
Because you're building a brand over time.
And I've had those job offers for bigger firms and whatnot, but like it's just not my thing. And
well, that's what I wanted to talk to you about also, is who do you recommend, a bigger to a more in-depth, or is it really just about who's passionate about you?
I think it's this is such a hard question because like I have a lot of friends in those bigger firms and I've been offered bigger firm situations. I think bigger firms and medium-sized firms are not for everyone. I think if as a talent, if you're going into a bigger firm and you're doing it for the wrong reasons as far as the name goes, I think you're making the wrong decision.
So what she means by that is, if you're going into a meeting and they're like, we also rep these 15 famous people,
there's no need for you to be there if you're an up and comer. I mean, if you want to spend the money, if
money's not an issue for you,
go for it. But the thing is, I want people to understand is that even with the smaller firms, a lot of these people come from these bigger firms.
Yes.
And they have the same relationships as these bigger firms do, if not better.
That's just like, so you guys, again, I can translate for you.
Sorry, I keep on thinking we're talking to people that understand.
It's good. Yeah, no, but it's good. That's why we're doing this, is so that people can understand. It's just like you have most agents who then go and have their own agency. They've already worked at Gersh or CAA, and they break off because then they have relationships with casting directors, managers, showrunners, and all that. So what happens as an agent is you're giving money to your agency, and at a certain point, and then you get a cut of it. And at a certain point, you start thinking, well, I can be giving all this money to Gersh, or I can break off and have my own agency, and that money can be part of me and my business.
Well, and with smaller firms, you're going to pay a lot less.
Yes, that's right.
But probably get more attention and more creativity and not filter calls.
Right.
At least you hope that there's no, and like, granted, I'm not taking away from any of these bigger firms and the publicists that I know, because I know a lot of great hardworking publicists at these bigger firms.
Right. Just like that's true about agencies.
Everyone, I think, and it's also a thing about the feel of people.
Right. Yeah.
I think if you're an established actor and you're looking for a new PR team and you go into a meeting, say with myself, and the energy is so great and you like me, and then you go into the bigger firm and you're like, oh, it's okay, but they have the bigger name, and you choose them because of the bigger name. Like, that's where it's frustrating for myself, because I'm like, okay,
and what do those actors feel the bigger name will get them? Just more access? Is that what
I just think some of them like to be a part of a bigger situation with the bigger names, but what they're not realizing is like the attention and the creativity and the love and the care and the support. It's not as much as you get with a smaller situation,
right?
And like, I think people kind of have to see if the grass is greener on the other side. Like I've had clients that are with me for a long time that were just like got roped into leaving and going because they want to try a bigger firm,
right?
And they try a bigger firm and
nothing.
I've had a couple people come back, to be honest.
Yeah.
Do I welcome them back? Yeah, sure. Open arms.
Yeah.
But I think some people just need to experience that.
That's the same thing that happens with your manager and agent team. I mean, you could be with somebody that is bigger because you want that name, and you think, oh, now I'm going to be bundled. Like, now I'm going to be packaged into all these projects.
Yeah, but it might be a conflict of interest.
There's so many things that you don't know on the other side. But yeah, absolutely. Like, listen, William Morris Endeavor calls you tomorrow. Like, I'm not going to say don't take that.
You should always take meetings.
Yeah.
I say you always take meetings. It doesn't matter how big or small the firm is.
It's just building relationships.
Yeah.
too.
And see if I think it comes down to seeing who you vibe with too.
Yeah, that's right.
Like I'm really big on vibing.
Yeah, we're going to get into that because that was a learning thing for me. But wait, Melissa, wait. I have to interrupt you.
Help me. I need some help.
And now it's time for listener questions.
I'm so scared.
All right, you guys, we have some listener questions. You guys are crushing me with listener questions right now, just FYI to you. So because I have so many listener questions, I don't want this episode to be like 3 hours of listener questions. So I'm going to start doing them on Instagram. We're going to start doing Instagram videos very quickly. I'll read a question. I'll answer it as quickly as possible. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, Audrey Helps Actors on Instagram. If you are submitting questions, I will answer them for you. La-da-da, tra-la-la, tra-la-la. The one question I really wanted to answer for you guys is a follow-up to the actor tax episode from last week. Everyone wants to know about unemployment. Now, if you don't know about the unemployment, you guys, it's some cash money in your pocket. Something to really consider when you're deciding whether or not you want to go corporate is whether or not you are currently collecting or can collect unemployment. Unemployment is like a $10,000 bank account provided by the government that is sitting, waiting for you to take it. Now, if you are a personal income tax person, so you do not have a corporation, you just have a personal income tax, you can claim unemployment up to $10,000 a year. And every time you get a check in the mail from like a residual, you just say, I got all this money in the mail, and you sort of submit that. And then the next week, when you don't get a check in the mail, you're like, please give me unemployment money. Thank you so much. So it's like free $10,000 in the mail in a bank provided by the government for you. So a lot of people really rely on that $10,000 cushion because obviously it takes you up a notch every year. And you want to know, if I'm a corporation, can I continue to file for unemployment? The short answer is yes, but the caveat is you have to decide whether or not the investment of paying into your unemployment insurance as your own corporation will pay off the amount of money that you will then be getting in unemployment. Now, how much your unemployment insurance is going to cost you is something that you individually have to work out with your tax preparer. I can't give you a number. I know you are all like, well, how much is it? Is it $150? Is it $3,000? I don't know, because I don't know your financial situation. You have to talk to a tax preparer. If that's something you're considering, I recommend investigating that. Just know it is possible, but let's just say, and this is not the number, but let's just say that the number is $3,000. Now, this is not the number, but we're using it as an example number. Let's say that it's $3,000. Well, you want to know that if you're paying $3,000 in unemployment insurance, you're going to want to make sure that you make $3,000 in unemployment to at least break even. And you don't know if you're going to need $3,000 in unemployment. You don't know. My hope is that you don't need it, because my hope is that you're making so much money this year that you don't need unemployment, and you're not going to qualify for it because you're working hella all kinds. However, maybe it's an off year. And isn't that the great thing about acting, is we just have no idea. We have no idea if we're going to be broke this year or we're going to be rich. Nobody knows. You don't know. I don't know. So it's a gamble. You are taking a bet against yourself that the amount of money you're spending on your unemployment insurance is going to be beneficial to the amount of money you're going to then make in unemployment. And it may not. And maybe you're going to lose that money. Who knows? Yay. All right. Figure it out.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Who should get a publicist? Because I have people, friends who who have less to work with, but don't mind spending the money.
I have agents or managers going like, they saved up all their money to have a publicist for like 3 months. Can you do it for this rate? And I'm like, well, what projects do they have? And they tell me, and I'm like, there's no way in hell they should be getting a publicist right now. That makes no sense.
It's just them trying to be part of a bigger game
right,
that they don't really
or they just want
qualify
to.
for
If they
yet.
just want to do event, like I even have a hard time if someone's like, I just want to do events.
Yeah.
I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Like, what's the? I get that you want to walk carpets and be pictured, but what is it going to do for you? Like, what is it going to do for you to walk a carpet and be pictured somewhere?
I think for a lot of people, it's just going back home and stuff like that. You know, it's like shows people that you're legit because people back home don't know better. I mean, I remember
True.
a friend of mine saying to me about some actor, he was like, you know, what happened to so-and-so? And I was like, I don't think anything happened to so-and-so. And he was like, oh, because I've been seeing all these pictures and they've blown up. And so I went on that person's IMDb and I was like, oh,
They have
they just have
no
a
work.
publicist. They just got a publicist and like a really great stylist.
Yeah.
And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah. But so like I knew that, but I was educated to know that.
Yeah.
But this was a person who's in the business. He just didn't know enough. And he was just like, thought that person suddenly was like special and important. But nobody who really knows anything as far as decision makers are concerned are going to be fooled by that.
It doesn't really like. I'm sitting back going, okay, you're going to these events, but what work have I seen you in?
Well,
So I kind of think that it makes that person look really Here's the thing. I get it. If someone wants to spend a little bit of money to go to these events to schmooze with people. Like if they're like, listen, I just want to get into these events and I just want to meet a casting director.
Right.
I want to meet a director.
Right.
I get that. But
Yeah.
if like they're like, I just want to walk carpet and get pictures, what's the point? Like there's no, and
Well,
I
actors
get
are
what you're
vain,
saying.
you see what
I
I'm
get what
saying?
you're, trust me, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, right.
Actors
I know
are a lot of
actors.
different things.
Yeah, right,
Trust
right.
me, I know that's been doing it for
Yeah,
10 years.
yeah.
But yeah, so a person that should get a publicist, to go back to that question, because I knew
Yeah.
you were going to kind of go off on it,
No.
is I think if you have a project, a couple projects, maybe you're a brand that has a brand launching, maybe you are taking part in some massive speaking situation or something with a hook. Maybe you're developing, like, it just depends, but you have to have something that's going to be hooky, and you have to have something that's going to be sellable, and you have to have something that's going to make sense for people to pay attention to. Like it's hard for us. Like it really is difficult for a publicist
Because you're pitching.
because we're pitching, not like, this is why we get paid per month, is because we are pitching story ideas on the phone, talking to editors, pushing why you should run them. Like there's so many different levels of what a publicist does, and it's time consuming.
It's very
so
time consuming.
and it's hand holding.
It is.
because you have to make everyone happy.
And you're dealing with actors, and I just want to say, like, and I have communicated this to you. I communicated this to my stylist and also my makeup artist. Hey, Laura.
Hey,
What's
girl.
up,
Shout
Teresa?
out.
Hey, girl.
New York again.
New York girl. But I say to people, but this is me, and I know most of you are not like this. I say, like, don't tiptoe around me. I'm not a sensitive actor. Like, if I look fat, just be like, girl, you look fat in that dress, and I don't think you should wear it.
No, yeah, I was there. I couldn't believe it. I was like, did they just call her what? Danny? What?
Exactly.
I was like, because I'm like, I'm pretty raw and real too, but
Yeah.
like I saw Dan, I'm like, okay, I get what you're throwing
She's on
down.
that
I
vibe.
like you.
Yeah, and I said the same thing to you. I was like,
Yeah.
listen, like, I don't
What
know
can
what
I
I'm
do better?
doing.
Yeah.
And if, like, there's something that needs to be done different or whatever, like, just tell me.
Well,
like,
you're a publicist's dream. Like you're
Right.
like you don't take things personally,
Right.
And you listen.
And so what I wanted you to know, what a part of what a publicist's job is, because I'm different than most people, is most publicists are doing a lot of hand-holding because artists are sensitive people by nature.
and
there's-
we also protect.
Yes.
And we protect you
is
and your
big.
brand. And the problem is when you do that and you step into that life of protecting the brand, the talent will sometimes be very, very, what's the word?
sensitive,
Yeah, they'll be sensitive, but they'll be like
erratic,
rebellious.
rebellious. That's a good word.
They'll be
for it.
very rebellious.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes you have to let people
Make some mistakes.
fall.
Yeah.
Not in like a horrible way,
No, right.
but fall
Right.
because they're in the public eye.
Yeah.
To actually learn what we're throwing down here.
I mean, I'm doing this episode because I want you to be thinking forward, you guys. Think forward. And when you get to a certain level, I remember working with a really good friend of mine, and she was in this big movie, and we went to this film festival together, and everyone wanted a piece of her. She didn't have a publicist yet, and everyone wanted to like have her for some interview or have her for something. And she was just sort of like, oh, okay, like people want me to be a part of things. And then we would go do these things, and there was literally no reason for her to be there except that it made the person who brought her feel cooler and look cooler for bringing her there.
Oh, God.
And that's, but like when you have a publicist and you get to a certain level, people are like, oh, I want to interview. Oh, I want to have this thing.
And can you promote my thing? Can you put it on your Instagram?
And your publicist is somebody who filters all that so that you're making choices.
If you let us, because a lot of people, well, actually, I mean, I have really good clients that actually filter. They give me everything to filter, and they trust me with the decisions that I make for them. But I've been through a handful of people, and I still do, where they don't see that people don't have like the best intentions for a lot of these people who are like quote unquote the hot ones right now, and we're the bad guy. So, and I don't mind being the bad guy.
Well, it's part of your job, right?
Yeah, it's part of my job. I don't, it's not personal for me. Right. I'm just like, okay, no, she's not, why would she Instagram this product for free? Yeah. If you're going to send her free product, like that's shelling it over 1 million people, and that's free advertisement. You're not using her name and likeness.
Right.
Like I'm very on top of that. And there's a lot of people who are like that. And because on top of that, with me, it's that not only do I see the talent as a brand, but I also have relationships with other brands. And I think creatively that way. So if someone's going like, say, if Audrey's doing a, for People's Style Watch, right?
Yeah.
I was like, she loves clothes. She loves making clothes. So why am I not going to that genre? So she got on People's Style Watch, talked about the sweater she loved, and she shot out to the sweater
and
brand.
Driva.
Yes. Hopefully you can work with her and or get that sweater
and
or
also,
whatever it
I
is.
love that designer.
It's organic.
Right.
It was organic. But then you see all these people on Instagram, oh, this brand, and it's oversaturated with all these different reality people. I do not like that. So I'm like more of like, why would you post that when the people that are posting it are all reality people?
Yes.
Why
then
are you putting yourself
about
in that,
your brand?
Right. And I also think like, oh, if you're going on tour, like why don't we do like a beauty channel, because your face might break out. Let me hit up like a beauty brand to see if they will pay you for this amount of time while you go on tour and give them content.
Yes.
So it's like but
that's really
creative. By the way, that's not like a publicist's job. Like that's not what we do.
That's really more above
but I
and
do
beyond.
that.
Yeah,
but that's like an agent or a manager. But I like to make my clients money. Like why, and get PR on top of that.
On top of that. So, now, what I want to say, just so to answer the question of like who should get a publicist, I also want to like
answer that question.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
But I want to like piggyback on that, and why I decided to get one, just for people listening, was I had gotten godless. And as those of you who know, once you've been in this business for a while, not too long, you know that like you can get cut out of things. So I didn't even know that I was going to like make it into godless still. Like I was like, I could be completely cut out. And it's not about the size of the part. Like there is a storyline from godless that I know is a big storyline, and it's completely gone. And I got inside intel that I was still in it, definitely in it, and that it was, something worth me pushing. And
you talents.
Yeah,
I mean, just try to. It's so funny.
But it's like I needed to. I just wanted
Inspector Gadget across from me.
I am. I'm so Inspector Gadget. So I wanted to then know long term what I want is I want like an internet presence. I want when people Google me, I want it to look like I am Googleable, and that when somebody is then my agents are pitching me for projects, it looks like I have already arrived. Yeah. I'm already somebody. And also on a long-term scale, I want to be diversifying. I want to be going into clothing brand. I want to be going into lifestyle. I want to be going into,
well, speaking of, that's important too. Just a side note is that even like Audrey's really good at this, is that she always has hair and makeup and styling. I told her this in a meeting the other day, just for fun for Christmas. I was like, you don't need a hair and makeup and stylist all the time, but certain things you do. But she understood the value of it because people are going to be watching her. Right. So when my brand and it's her brand. So like when she's walking carpets and she looks ridiculous or different, more fashion brands are going to want to feature her.
Right.
Dress her. But
Right.
it's also on top of that, if I'm talking In Style magazine or InStyle.com and they see her walking a carpet all great,
Yeah.
they're going to want to do a feature on her shoes.
That's right.
So it's you are a walking billboard.
Right. And I knew that in the future, as I grow my career, that's something that I want to be expanding to, because the actor career, as people know, is like ebb and flow. And that's just sort of the way that it works. So I want other outlets for me that are creative and exciting. And I thought a publicist is going to be instrumental in helping me build and grow that professional opportunities for myself. And what I want to say about that I've learned so much through this process, I really want to share with you guys, is I used to think of success as like, I'm at point, I used to think of it like a mountain, and it was like, I'm at the bottom of the mountain and success is the top of the mountain. And I now think of it more like a tree. And there's like the center ring, and then there's another ring, and then there's another ring. And that's how you can tell how old the tree is now it feels more expansive. So it's like before, it's like, how do I get to be an actor? Oh, I have to be a good actor. Okay, I'm a good actor. Then I expand. How do I know how to audition? Okay, expand. How do I get auditions? Okay, expand. How do I book? Okay, expand. How do I get better projects? Okay, expand. Now, how do I get projects that are of a caliber? Maybe I need a publicist. Okay, if I get a publicist, then I'm in front of the camera more. So maybe now I need a stylist and I need a makeup artist. Okay, so I expand. And then it's like, oh, then I'm fielding all these phone calls. Then eventually it's like, well, I'll need an assistant who can help with all of that. So it's success now to me, I've discovered it's like an expansion of rings inside a tree rather than like going up a hill. And I just knew that for me, a publicist and where I was going was a smart investment into the growth potential that I wanted to be capitalizing on. Boom. Well said, Audrey
I have
Moore.
nothing to say to that.
Okay, good. Do you take every client that comes to you?
No.
Great.
That was really quick.
Yeah, no, that's what people come to you, and sometimes you're like, no.
Yeah.
Great.
No.
Just like an HR manager, they don't take everyone. Talk to me about, I told you I was going to ask you about me.
Jesus.
As a client, just so they know, we've kind of talked about this, but anything else you want to say, pluses or minuses? Because you said that I'm a go-getter, so that's
about you?
Yeah, just so that, because I want them to know for themselves, like, how can they be the best client for a publicist?
It's just, I think everyone has, like, this sounds so bad, but everyone has flaws. Mm-hmm. Like, I have flaws. We're going to make mistakes.
My spelling is a flaw, you guys.
Yeah, we're going to, I might pitch wrong, or
right.
I might let something slip, or I that never happens, by the way, but it does somehow. Yeah. Someone who will be so driven, and understand that my job is hard, and I'm doing everything that I can, and I can't be the only one who's passionate and pushing you. Some people aren't right for this. Some people think they're right for it, and then when they jump into it, then they realize, holy crap, they're not right for it.
I definitely want to say that that's true.
Talent needs to understand that once they get a publicist, they're going to have to know it's going to be work. What talents don't get, and some of them do,
right,
is that these are our relationships.
Yes. It's just like if somebody is going to try to get you into an important room, but you have like some relationship drama that's happening, or you have like some work issue that occurs, because like life happens. But the fact of the matter is that casting director doesn't care. And and it's not their problem.
Right.
And so if you can't get your shit together to get that audition in gear so that you are ready for those 13 pages that you got at 9:30 at night, and you have to be ready by 10 a.m., but you had a fight with your boyfriend or whatever is your story, that you're not ready with those 13 pages, and you show up and you don't do good work, you don't have to be the person who gets the part, but you have to be somebody who shows that you've put in the time, you've respected this audition, you've respected this spot. And then that is damage to the relationship between your agent or your manager and that casting director. And then that damages the relationship between your reps and you. And so that's the same thing that happens for you,
right,
with editors.
Well, and the thing is like, I think you have other things yanking at you from the outside, it's not going to work.
And I have to say, you guys, it's a lot of work. Like and I knew it was going to be a lot of work, but it really is a lot of work.
You
I
killed
did.
it.
But I just want people to know, it's not like you just sit down and then somebody calls and is like, hey, do you want to do this thing? Blah, blah, blah. It's,
if you are killing it,
yes,
your publicist, you're going to be so annoyed with them because it's like, stop giving me shit. Can I swear?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Stop giving me shit. Like, okay, let me catch up on these emails.
Yes.
Like, stop. But it's a great thing.
It is. Yeah.
So like I said, like your team, especially your publicist, he or she's going to have to know everything that's going on in your life.
Because I now wasn't just getting auditions. I was now, so I have like my life, right? Which is like my man that I take care of. I have dogs. I have friends that I want to see.
Your
I
man's
have like,
amazing though.
He is amazing. But I have like all of that, right? And then I have like the auditions and those sorts of things and reading scripts. And then once the publicity started coming, I had the interviews I had to take, email interviews that I had to fill out. I had then events I had to go to.
But you never deterred from it. Like, that's the best part.
But what I wanted just to communicate to them is how much work then it became.
Yeah.
And then for the events, then it really means that I have to go and make sure that the clothes, and I have to find the stylist, or not the stylist. I have to make sure the makeup artist is available, and then I have to be available to that. And all of those sort of things can then come in the way. Then you get an audition at 4, but your event is at 7. So you go to the audition at 4 and you have to have like this look, and then you have to take it all off and then go to hair and makeup and then find this dress, but then the shoes don't get delivered. Like, it's a lot of that. It's like what I tell people, it's like preparing for a wedding every day. It's like, it's preparing for a wedding every day.
Can you imagine how we feel? Because we have to set all of
yeah,
up.
You're like the wedding planner every day. So it's a lot of work. So I just want to now ask you, what should an actor's expectations be?
I mean, that's for what?
So I have a show coming out. I'm going to hire a publicist. I have a big role in it, or I have a movie coming out. I have a solid enough role. What should my expectations be?
You shouldn't have any expectations.
Great.
That's the biggest.
Okay, good.
I mean, sorry, I don't mean to be blunt.
No, that's good.
But I think we tapped into this earlier that I said, like, if you're just starting, you can't expect to be plastered in these massive mainstream worlds and or get into like these great events yet. It's just it's a stepping stone. So you have to be okay with building your brand and building it. I mean, doing those blogs, doing the podcast, doing radio interviews, doing internet sites. It just all depends. Like, granted, like I was able to. Hopefully you were happy with it to get you into.
I am. She's terrible at taking a compliment.
Well, I mean, I know. I'm stop. And you tapped into that mainstream world. Yes. You got some articles that were great that I was like, this is amazing. But I think if people have expectations in terms of any situation in their life, they're going to be sorely disappointed.
So what I learned is the following. When you have a publicist, it's a lot of work. It is expensive. People told me that it was going to be expensive, but it isn't just the actual publicist that is expensive. If you're a woman, then you are also having to decide if you're going to make the choice to then also be styled and also have the hair and makeup. For me, worth the investment. And also, I want to say some things that you did that were really awesome. No, just so people know, like, as far as an investment is concerned.
I'm really uncomfortable, you guys.
No, I want you guys to know, investment-wise, what it is. This is not just like to compliment you. I want you to know investment-wise what's happening. So part of what happened was, for Godless, Melissa managed to get me first-class ticket to and from the premiere, plus hotel, plus per diem, plus transpo on the ground, plus hair and makeup. And the reason why that's important is not just because that was like nice or cool. What's important is that is now a set precedent. So now going forward, whenever you go into negotiation for a deal, what they ask for when you're going to negotiation is they ask for precedent. So it's like if you want to do a guest star and you say, well, my guest star rate is $15,000, that's higher than the normal guest star rate. So they have to say, well, what's the precedent? So you have to go, well, I did NCIS and they gave me $15,000 for that guest star. So then they can go back and say, well, she has a rate of $15,000 for a guest star.
Is that a lot of money for a guest star spot?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about fees. piece.
So then they go for that precedent. So now going forward with my negotiations, now I'm going to expand into lawyer territory. And then when I go into lawyer territory and I go into my next contract and I say, also for premiere, I want this, 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 and this, they're going to say, do we have precedent? And now I'm going to say, yes, we have precedent for this going forward.
Yeah, and this is actually really important too, because all my talent, this is not what a publicist does.
Right.
Agent managers do it.
Usually do it.
And they put in their agreement, every time I fly, I have this, or, you know. And that's the first question I asked
But
to
that's
Audrey.
because
I was like,
this was like my first series. So all of my stuff was like low. And so
she put me in the back and the economy guy's in the middle seat, though.
No,
so don't let
I
her fool
bumped
her.
you up. I bumped her up. Let's be real. So anyways, so that was a really important part of the investment. And so now for me, all the investment that I put into everything, in addition to whatever else comes out, if all that comes out is that precedent has been set, that to me is already, yes, because that's really good.
Really?
For contract-wise going forward, it really is. I mean, listen, all the other stuff we've got is awesome, but like once you got me that, I was like, oh, this is really great, because now going forward I have a precedent for every single premiere for
By the way, that's not a publicist's responsibility, but I did it anyways.
It's not a publicist's responsibility, but she did it anyways. And now that was like something that I have. And then what I want to say also for that is, this is something that I learned and why it's important for you to gel with your publicist. And this is because your publicist becomes like your new best friend. They are literally with you for every event that you go to. For our New York premiere, you guys, we went in the car together. We flew together. We stayed together. We went to the events together. We did all those things. So we were together for all of that. Now, so if you have a publicist that you're like, oh, this person is boring as fuck, or this person's super annoying, like, I want you to understand that it's really important that whoever you choose is somebody that you think is cool AF and want to hang with, because you're going to be hanging with them a lot. It's important when you're meeting with a publicist to consider the fact that you are going to be spending a lot of time with that person. Well, you should go,
can I travel with this person?
Maybe you're a person who's like, you want your space, you want some quiet, you need to be left alone. So that's something that you need to consider when you're meeting with publicity firms, is communicate to them, listen, I know that the publicist is going to be with me a lot. I'm kind of shyer. I may be a little bit more awkward. I need to manage my energy. So I need somebody who's going to sort of be to themselves, or somebody who's going to like help me extrovert myself at parties, but then it's going to leave me alone when we travel, or whatever your needs are, right?
Leave me alone when I go to the bathroom.
Leave me alone when I go to the bathroom. Like, whatever your needs are.
We sound like stalkers, by the way. You're making me sound like a massive stalker.
No, not at all. No, not at all. I just want you guys to understand, so when you're going in,
they pick the right publicist, you feel comfortable with them there.
Yes.
You want them there at all times. So.
I would say so. It should feel like somebody that you naturally already would hang out with, and would be your friend.
Should be like, oh, my publicist said that? Got it. Like,
yes,
I trust that.
Part of what Melissa did, so just be aware that this is what happens when you go into these meetings, is that we talked about my life, and everyone knows I'm like open about everything, so there's no like secrets here. We talked about like what are things I'm passionate about, and so like I do make my own clothes. That was something that she was interested in. I also cook. I have been going through my mother's recipe book. Good publicist, she speaks for me. And also, I'm really passionate about substance abuse and mental health, because as you know, half of my family is dead, and it's because of addiction and mental health issues. And so that's something that I'm very forthright with. And I was able to communicate to her that I'm comfortable talking about that, so that if that's something that comes up. That was
the very first meeting, which I love, though, because I love hearing about people's stories.
Yes, because you were really looking at like, where are we going? And then also everybody knows like I'm very into like women power, women empowerment, all those sorts of things.
These are all great angles though.
Right, but I also have things that I do that I act upon those things. I'm also was in a show that was in that angle as well. So I can talk, because what you want is your publicist is going to want to talk about you, with you, about what you can actually be passionately, authentically talking about. But wait, Melissa, wait. I have to interrupt you.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled program to bring you shit you didn't know about your union.
Oh my gosh, you guys. I went to the Commercial 101 contract boot camp wherein I learned about my commercial contract. Oh, I am like so excited about this because I am going to give you money. I'm going to give you that money. Now, you guys know that I have been trying to convince you to sign out for your commercial auditions. And here's why. I just found out something I didn't know. I talked to my commercial agent. They didn't know it. Nobody in the room knew this, but I'm here to give you some cash. Okay, when you sign in, you want to write in pen. They give you pencils. You know why they give you pencils? Because then they can erase it. Nefarious ones. You get your own pen out of that purse, or you borrow it from the actress next to you who has a purse, and you borrow that pen and you write your name down in pen, legibly. It's important it's legible because they're trying to give you money. And then what you're going to do is you're not going to write down your social security number because people are cray. And so you don't want people having your social. You're going to memorize your SAG-AFTRA ID number and you're going to write it down. If you write it down, you're going to get more money, substantially more money. And then you're going to fill the rest out. You're going to fill out who your agent is. You're going to fill out your time. You're going to fill out all this sort of stuff. And then when you finish your audition, you're going to sign out because you're going to get money. So from the first and second calls, okay, you are allowed an hour to be there without penalty. 1 hour. Okay, now the hour starts at the call time of your audition. So if you get there at 4 and you don't leave until 5, but your call time for your audition is 4:20, you haven't hit that hour. Okay? But if your call time is 4:20, you get there at 4 and then you are there until 5:45, you are now allotted overtime for that audition, and they have to pay you. Now, the payment does come in the mail. It is substantial, and it can really boost up. Some of you I know for your pension and health, some of you guys are ending the year like $400 away from the health plan, and this could be the answer for you. So you get $41.98 for every half hour over that hour, okay? So if you're there for 1 hour and 1 minute, that means $41.98. If you are there for 1 hour and 31 minutes, you get $41.98 times 2. But if you guys write your member ID down, this is going to blow your mind. You get an extra $96.25 for writing your member ID down. $96.25. That means for showing up to your audition, you could be making like $150. That's awesome. That also means maybe you should show up on time for your audition. Because if your audition is at 4:20, yeah, it is. And you get there at 4:20, yeah, you do. And then it goes until 5:45, and you put your member ID down, you're going to make $140. That's so great. Isn't that awesome? And the reason this is because they audit these pages. They audit them. SAG audits them to make sure that session runners are running things correctly and not wasting your fucking time. We're explicit here, you guys. I cuss a lot. So if you don't have your member ID on there and you're completely writing illegibly, it's like they have to like break the Da Vinci Code in order to find out how to pay you. So just give them your member ID number and get more money. You're welcome.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
5 questions. What is the best part about publicity to you?
I love seeing my clients happy.
Yeah.
Like it's like, and it's so funny because they always say you need to be happy, but but that's what fills me. Like not on a personal level, but like on my job level.
Yeah, right.
It's like when I get so stoked for when I see something happen that happens and they're genuinely excited for it.
Yeah.
That's what makes me happy with that.
What is the worst part about being a publicist for you?
Oh my God, the worst part. If there was a worst part about it, I probably wouldn't be doing it.
Was there a hardest part?
There's a lot of hard parts.
Yeah.
I mean, the hardest thing is knowing the personal barriers. You have to go through a massive relationship, a working relationship when you first start in PR to be able to understand how you need to divide
the
personal with the work relationship.
Why publicity?
I really think this is what I was meant to do.
That's great.
I think now that I think back on my life, I was like, I kind of was in PR my entire life. Like in my sorority, like everyone was like, you need to be social chair and you need to be dance chair and plan this and do this. And so like, I thought about it. I'm like, I'm kind of doing
that anyway.
Yeah. But it's really funny. When I was younger, I told my dad, I used to sit there and I go, there's no way in hell I'm going to be able to work for someone. I want to drive a Mustang, and stick shift. Yeah. Like I went down all these things with my dad when I was younger, and I have everything I told him.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
It's not like, it's like you manifest it.
Yes.
There's still, I had to grow a lot still, but I do think there's other things I need to do outside of publicity in terms of like, life. Do I have other passions? Yeah, absolutely.
She loves sports ball, you guys.
Oh my gosh. She calls it, you guys, she calls it sports ball. I can't deal.
What I'm really always trying to get actors to have some understanding about is compassion, because actors by nature have to be, just like you said, me focused. But I always want you guys to have perspective and empathy and compassion and understanding for the people that work around you, and know that just like we have a lot of rejection all the time, publicists get a lot of rejection all the time too. They're pitching you for articles, they're pitching you for certain events, and then they're trying to get clients and they get told no, just like anybody.
It's frustrating
does.
for people who actually care, because it's like, you just had that person in that magazine, like my person's amazing. Yes. And so it's nothing personal though. It's political.
Yeah, it's political.
So you just have to kind of keep someone used to tell me you get 100 no's to get one yes. And I've always kept that in my head. Like, okay, cool. No, yes.
So I'm about that, you guys. As you know, that's why I push so hard, is because it's like so much of it is a numbers game. What do you wish someone had taught you or managed to get you to understand when you were just a wee babe entering this business?
I just honestly think it's the personal game. Like, don't take it personally and don't get attached. But like I said earlier, it's hard not to. Yeah. I mean, in the publicity world, when I first started out, I had no mentors that were in PR. I was thrown into a atmosphere of publicity just by a whirlwind. It just literally, I just fell into it. And I had to teach myself everything. The person, I mean, that I worked for when I first started out, it was experiencing, put it that way. So I had nothing else to do but for a whole year to just do that and do it the way that I think is right. And just to watch and evaluate other publicists on carpets and communication and talk to assistants. And the mentors that I had are actually managers. And that's why I think a lot of people ask me, even my clients, I mean, a lot of people go, can you just be my manager? Like, can you be everything? Can you be my publicist and my manager? Because you literally do everything.
You do it all anyway. Yeah.
And I'm like, no, like management is not my passion. Like, I love selling people. What is your biggest struggle right now, personally or professionally? I think it's, oh gosh, I don't want to, I'm so grateful for all the opportunities that come to me, good or bad. And it's so hard for me to answer that, because I think the biggest challenge for me that's always going to be there, and I don't think I'm ever going to be content with it, is the fact that, like, I own my own company. It's a smaller firm. Do I want to go to a bigger firm because I can maybe get these massive names that I want, but it will give me the ability to be free and do whatever I want to do? No. I don't want to be a part of that. But that's what happens. I fall into a category of, even if I'm a badass publicist, but they go to a name over myself, because I have a great name. But I don't have that name that has Tom Cruise.
Right. That's right.
So they always look at like who you've worked with. Now, granted, I've worked with a lot of people and I've done a lot of talent. But it's that challenge.
Yeah.
That's the challenge of having your own firm that's smaller.
But that is true, I would say, for managers or agents. My vibe, though, I like scrappy. You guys, like
you want someone who's going to fight for you.
I like scrappy. I'm scrappy. Like, I'm like, let's go on a scrappy deal, and that's, I hear that from agents, from managers.
Oh, yeah,
Those are all my friends that, are of the same level, and they're just like, it's like part of the business.
I know, and I think I've come to
understand that.
I'm not really shocked, just put it that way.
It's just, but it's not great. It's not fun. It still sucks.
It's not great.
It still sucks. Okay, this is I'm looking it up. That's why I'm on my phone. I'm looking at my
you're okay.
mildly interesting. You're not boring. I'm looking at my
never having me
mildly
back.
interesting. Yeah, no, God, that's not true. You're fired. No. Okay, this is now where we do mildly interesting. So mildly interesting is anything that you like, that you're interested in, that you think you want to recommend, or just like something you learned today, like whatever it is.
What do you mean?
Like, I'll do mine.
Okay, and I'll follow.
Okay, sure.
Follow suit.
Okay,
because
so
I'm a follower, you're a leader.
Yeah, that's right. When I think of you, I think of a follower. Okay, mine is this street. It's called Santee Street, Santee Street, and Maple. It's downtown LA. I went with Buckley, Image by Buckley. And here's what's crazy, you guys. Okay, so I've told you guys that everything downtown is free. So Santee Street, Santee Street, and Maple in downtown LA. It's this alleyway, and it's like a couple blocks long. And you guys, they have everything, and it's free. It's so exciting. What? It's not like actually free, but it's like as good as free. But here's what was so funny is because you guys know I'm a huge Project Runway fan, and Melissa, who got me on Project Runway AfterBuzz, and she's
going to go back.
I'm going to go back. And it was so funny. So many, basically what they do is they have anything that's been popular recently. So it was something that came on Project Runway, or something that somebody famous wore, or something like that. So they knock it off immediately, and it's all downtown, and it's all $20, $40 instead of $200, $400. It's so great. And they have shoes that are I'm going to go get Jesse all these shoes for $10, men's shoes for $10, kids' toys for $2. I got so many pairs of earrings. So all the places in Melrose, what they do, all those shops on Melrose that everyone shops at, what they do is they actually go downtown to this alley, and they get all these earrings for $1, $2. They get these sweatshirts for $10, $20, and then they mark it up to earrings $20, shoes $40, dress $80. But you can just go downtown. So for the same drive it takes you to go to Melrose is the same drive it takes you to go downtown. You just have to go down there yourself and get the products and get them for dirt ass cheap. It was so much fun. We got such great swag, and I'm super excited about it.
I would not be doing that.
You would love it.
I'm not a fashion person.
It's not fashion. They have sports stuff. They have.
What do you mean sports stuff?
Coats, hats.
No, bro, I don't do that either.
Okay, they have all that.
I need sports bras though.
They have sports
and
bras,
sports clothes to work out in.
Yeah, they have workout clothes. It's all.
They're all knockoffs.
Yeah, and it's all really.
I need running shoes. They have that.
They have running shoes.
Oh, why don't you call me next time you go then?
I will.
Is it only cash underneath?
No, you can do.
They do Venmo.
They do Venmo. No,
people in LA
cards.
say, "Can I Venmo you?"
Yeah, but they do cards. I
don't trust them. No damn cards. Just kidding.
I can't tell you guys the cool stuff I found.
She finds the craziest things.
I do.
I don't ever go downtown unless I have to.
Well, nobody does because you don't think about it, but I just take the train down, which takes me the same amount to drive. Then I'm not worried about parking. It's right behind me.
Oh, yes, I don't.
Yeah. And so then I just take the train down, and then I'm there in 30 minutes, and I don't have to worry about parking. And then I just go downtown.
You're a typical New Yorker.
I'm a typical New Yorker, you guys.
Not really.
Okay, not really at all.
You're from New Mexico.
I'm from New Mexico, and I love LA. Okay, go.
I'm from Vegas.
Yes.
Shout out.
There's people who listen from Vegas. Good.
There's really, I'm so boring, you guys.
How about this? What's a great place to stay in Vegas? What's your favorite place?
We never stay at a hotel.
Okay.
In Vegas. I have a house there.
What's your favorite place to eat in Vegas?
When I do go to Vegas, though, for work, and I did go for a lot, the Palazzo has the best beds.
Okay. The Palazzo has the best
they're
beds.
all suites.
Okay, good.
So I would, And then I went to go see Kendra's sex show that she does out there. It was actually really, really good.
That's great.
So if you guys are around there and you're debating on going to Kendra's, what the hell is it called? Shout out Kendra Wilkinson.
We'll Google it.
Yeah, it's a great show. I mean, I wish I had more.
That's good.
I mean, we went to New York together, went to Vegas recently. I went to my first lesbian wedding, which was amazing.
Yes, that's
but it was sports themed. You would have died.
I would have
Everyone was in sports gear, and I showed up in tight jeans with a Giants tight jersey with heels on.
That's
and
hilarious.
all my friends who are gay are like, of course you would.
Okay. Final thing.
Oh, this is so much fun.
Social media and plug yourself.
No.
Well, you have to plug yourself so people can follow you. What if they want to get in contact with you?
You follow me. Do you like my posts?
I love your posts.
Are you being sarcastic?
No, I love your posts. You post great posts.
Thanks. Yeah, because I want to prep them in case they do start to follow me.
Okay, good.
You can follow me at...
She's so awkward.
I'm awkward, you guys. I don't promote myself. M Berger PR. MBERGER PR. That's on my Instagram.
And even though her last name is Berger, I want you to know she does not eat hamburgers.
I don't eat red meat or pork. No.
I think it's because her last name is Berger.
And my last name is my first name. People like to... I mean,
yeah, people call you Berger
ever since I was little.
Yeah,
like, there's no way around it. I think when I get it, well, I'm not getting married, so
okay, good. One day, maybe.
That's another. No, I don't know.
Okay,
not my thing.
We'll find out.
No,
Yeah.
we'll find out.
We'll find out. Okay, so thanks everyone so much for listening. This is Audrey Moore and Melissa Berger with Audrey Helps Actors, and remember, don't forget your towel.
What does that mean?
Next week on Audrey Helps Actors, we are talking to Danny Morales. She is my stylist, you guys, and she is so good. So while I was in New York, I had her over. We discussed styling, the style world, what stylists do. Why do they cost so much money? Are they worth all the money that they cost? Yes. Yes, I'm here to tell you, yes, they are. So, take a little listen. A lot of what you heard me talk about, the breakdown of the episode for today, was the cost of all the styling and all that sort of stuff. So if you want to know what and why that is, then I recommend you listening. Listen, you guys, it's important to think ahead and to think about the expanded version of your career beyond just, I booked a series and how I have awards. Yeah, I'm Tina Fey. Like, there's a lot of filling in the gaps. Okay, guys. I'm so excited. You're going to love it. She's really funny and super cool. You're just going to love her. Special thanks this week to Melissa Berger. Thanks, Melissa. You guys, she's so hilarious. She loves sports ball. So if you meet with Melissa, just talk about sports ball the whole time. She's going to adore you. Just kidding. I don't know anything about sports ball, so we didn't talk about it. And we get along like gangbusters. And I love her, and she crushed it. And not only did she crushed it so much that people who don't know her but know about publicity were like, hey, your publicist is fucking crushing it right now. And I was like, I know. I'm amazing. She is amazing. I meant she's amazing. That's what I meant. She is amazing. So thanks, Melissa, for all that you do. You're so great. Love you. And yeah. This show is produced and edited by Jesse Lumen. Oh, he's so handsome. Special thanks to Thomas Snodgrass for the mic assistance here and there. He's so generous with his mic. It's good to have your sound guy across the street, you guys. And thanks to Aalok Mehta for some help with the theme song. Music this week and every week by Ari De Niro. And most importantly, don't forget your towel.